What's up, everybody? My name is David Sabastian, representing Believe in Yourself Records, Skid Row Fashion Week, live from Los Angeles. Check me out on the Bootleg Kev Podcast.
Yo, it's the Bootleg Kev Podcast. Special guest in here, David Sabastian.
What's good? How you doing?
He's a rapper. He's an artist. He's an author. I mean, how many hats are you wearing? You got clothing line.
I'm wearing them all at the moment.
You do literal art.
I'd say definitely a musician, designer, author, activist, philanthropist. That's a big word for saying, you help out the community in some way. Everything, man. I'm about to drop a cookbook, a raw vegan cookbook, so I guess I'm a chef now too. You feel me?
So explain the raw part, because some people say they're vegan, but when I just talked to you about it, you were like, no, I eat everything raw now. So what does that mean?
It's just electric foods, like a lot of times when you cook your food over a certain temperature, you cook out all the nutrients. So it's something that's kind of new for me, but I like it because, your whole life you learn how to cook a certain way, right? And then when you can't do that anymore, it forces your mind to create new ways to do it. And then the cookbook thing was just like a lot of my niggas who like in the hood don't know how to cook, don't know.
Right.
Yo, raw is too expensive. Like an easy, applicable way to make raw dishes that look good, that taste good, that make you feel good for like under $10,
So is raw like essentially you go to the store, you buy vegetables, and then you just eat them that way?
Yes, but you don't just take some collard greens and just eat them, right? So like a vegan dish would be, a raw dish would be like you get a collard green, right? And then you get some hummus, you put some hummus in it, you chop up some onions, you put a little dill on it, you cut up some garlic, you add some it's just playing with flavor. So then you roll that up. I like make this like raw sushi. I roll it up and it just tastes incredible, man. Little sesame seeds in it.
As opposed to like cooking.
Opposed to
the
cooking.
Food, yeah.
I've lost 12 pounds in about 2 weeks.
Oh, that's big.
And
so this is something new you just started.
I'm like 30 days in.
Dope.
I'm going to my birthday. Cause I love meat. Pause. Like I love meat.
Me too, man.
That's
why I can never. I respect people who say they're vegan.
Yeah.
Because I just can't even process.
But it depends on how much you value. So when I eat meat and I'm like just a fucking carnivore, I'm tired all the time. I'm fucking sleeping in meetings. I can't move. You know what I mean? I'm like in this constant state of like narcosis, right? So, but I'm eating good. Right. But now I'm raw and it doesn't really fuck with like eating some ribs or some jerk chicken. But I stay up 19 hours out the day. I can run fucking as long as I want to. I just feel incredible. I feel amazing.
So after your birthday, you're going to go back to eating meat?
No. On my birthday, I'm going to eat a dish.
A dish?
A dish.
What would that dish be?
Like some grade A Wagyu fucking, just top maybe like $1,000 filet Wagyu type shit.
The Wagyu's the one.
Yeah, that's the Wagyu. Yeah.
That's a nice way to treat yourself.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you came up on our show, like March or April of last year?
Yeah.
Killed Your Freestyle. You put out some records. You just put out a audio book called Imagination Time, right?
Yeah.
For people who don't know what that means,
yeah.
Explain to me first of all, the inspiration for this book, and what does it mean?
So the inspiration behind it was one of my good friends, Jermaine. He sent me an audio book maybe 6-7 years ago by a guy named Neville Goddard, who was a speaker, a positive speaker in the 40s and the 50s.
Okay.
And it changed my life. It absolutely changed my life. And it all centered around your imagination essentially being God, right? So this entity, that we call God is the human imagination, right? Like if you look around this room, what's one thing in here that wasn't created by someone's imagination?
Right. That's fair.
the artwork, the music in it, you know, everything is essentially created by your imagination. So this audiobook taught you how to utilize your imagination to create the desired reality you want. So I started listening to it and practicing it, and then I was like, oh fuck.
And this is a book that's old.
It's old. It's from the 40s. It's some talking from 40s, 50s. It's on YouTube. Type in how to use your imagination.
Okay.
It's brilliant. So I started using it and my life started changing, because before that, I did a lot of busy work. I did a lot of, like, you know how sometimes we do a lot of things to feel like we're doing something. I was just always, I'm doing this. But once I learned the power of my imagination, it's like, you ever heard the expression, like, a big dick don't got to move that much?
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't got to do too much.
Right.
You know, you can literally just think it and create it into your reality. So long story short, just looking at all these teachers and philosophical people, you got Esther Hicks, you got fucking all these people, they're all like older, like white people, you know, they're all like older white people. And there's no real representation in the audiobook self-help space, especially from someone who's tattooed like me and is a rapper and in these streets, you know. So really it just happened like that. Like, yo, I need to speak a language that my people understand and then teach them the power of their imagination. So that's how it started.
Yeah. So like, explain kind of, you said that during the pandemic, you had kind of started practicing this, I guess imagination time thing, right? So kind of give people like a breakdown on like what that entails and like.
So when you wake up and before you go to sleep, your mind enters something called REM sleep, right? And it's where you don't really, your subconscious doesn't know the difference between a dream and reality, right? So that's the best time to impress upon thoughts in your mind that you want to create, because your subconscious is going to materialize them, because they don't know if it's real or if you're in a dream. So I would wake up, and at this time I was living at the Orsini. Do you know where the Orsini is?
Is that downtown?
It's downtown.
Yeah.
It's like these hood projects, you know, like niggas was getting robbed in my, it's not like fucking the projects, but it's like where, like, if you're an upscale drug dealer, you move to, and you know, you
Makes
get
sense.
some like luxury or whatever. But I was in this one bedroom, and I just finished living in my office, which was an upgrade, and I wanted a penthouse, man. I wanted a penthouse, and I wanted a beautiful fucking girlfriend, and I wanted my music to go somewhere, you know, and I wanted a record deal, but I wanted the right record deal. I wanted real equity, and I wanted a couple other things that I just wanted. And I started waking up, and I first started off at 10 minutes, then I moved to 20 minutes, and then now I do 30 minutes a day. And what I would do is I would lay down, and I would put myself in a situation in the future, given that I had all the things that I wanted. So if I have the penthouse, right, I'd envision me, I'd close my eyes, and I'd wake up in my mind in that penthouse, and I'd look outside, and I'd be like, it's fucking beautiful up here. And, you know, the girlfriend of my dreams would be laying in the bed, and she'd be like, you want me to cook you some food? And I'm like, yeah, cook me some food. And I'd walk around, and I'd get phone calls about, you know, with my lawyer talking, like you create, just like a movie. When you write a script, you're writing a script for your future life.
Right.
And then you live in that reality, and then you let it go. You just wake up and go about your day. You don't worry if it's going to happen. You don't worry why it's not happening. You don't even worry about the current reality you're in. You just let it go, like you just watched the film. And then crazy shit's just going to start happening to you, man. I've seen it happen to me. I've seen it happen to my friends. I've seen it happen to my mom, who practices it now. And you know, one thing led to another. It's the pandemic. I'm like, fuck, everybody's on their phones now. Something said, yo, drop your album. I'm like, drop my album, but how am I going to upload it to this? And I can't sell it on your website. I'm like, sell it on my fucking website. Okay, fuck it. End up making too much money, and then end up leveraging that into, you know, a situation and the great situation. And then I end up getting that fucking penthouse and end up meeting this girl who I'm not with anymore. But
I think I met her the last time
you did meet her. Yeah. She was fine. She was a beautiful human being.
She was nice. Yeah, very nice.
She was fine, and she was nice. But that didn't work out, because you know, you ever heard the saying, be careful what you ask for?
Definitely.
You know, you may think you want something, but you have to be very, very specific on what you want, because you might end up getting exactly what you say you want.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, you also, this penthouse you had was, there was a very bad situation that happened for people who don't know.
Well, it wasn't at this penthouse. I moved out of that penthouse and I moved into another penthouse.
So where you moved, for people who don't know, there was in LA, there was a hostage situation.
Yeah.
That everyone across the world saw online.
Yeah.
Where there was it your lady that was being held hostage?
She was my friend.
Your friend was being held hostage at your place by a gunman.
Correct.
And the police, the SWAT team, whatever it is, blew the wall up and then rescued her.
Yes.
Killed the dude.
Killed the guy in my living room.
In your living room.
Yes.
You're not home at the time.
No. You want to know something that's crazy is
that was fucking crazy.
It was very crazy.
Because I was watching and then I saw you post like, that's my home. And I was like, oh fuck.
The thing that's crazy is I threw a little party the night before, and a couple people stayed over and whatever, and my friend, her name's Haley, the one who got held at gunpoint. Before I left to go to a meeting, right, I said, don't let no weird crazy niggas in my house. I don't know why I said it. I just looked back. I was like, don't let no weird crazy niggas in my house. And she laughed. She's like, I'm not. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I leave and I go to this meeting, and then I'm like calling her, trying to reach out to her, and she's not picking up. And I'm like, that's strange. Like, why is she not picking up? Maybe she's asleep.
Right.
And then we get back to my house, and the entire street is fucking blocked off. Everything is blocked off from here to fucking 7th Street or whatever. And I'm like, what's going on? And people are like, yo, it was a shooting. She was shooting. I'm like, oh shit, you know, this is crazy. They're like, the gunman ran into your building now. I'm like, oh fuck, he's in my building now. It's like crazy. I'm calling her, she's still not picking up. And something in my gut was like, oh fuck, I bet this nigga's in my house. Only because crazy shit happens to me. Like just crazy movie weird shit just happens. And I'm like, there's no reason why she wouldn't be picking up with this, and I put two and two together. And then someone who I was with, this someone I was with was just like, I think someone's in your house. And I'm like, oh fuck, someone is in my house. So the guy had a bad day. He went on a fucking shooting rampage, tried to steal a car, shot someone, pulled a trigger at another dude's head. The gun wouldn't click. Ended up running into my building and running into my house. And
your friend's okay?
She's okay. I mean, outside of the trauma this situation, but she's alive, you know, which is amazing. But you know, anything could have happened. And then when they broke in, you know, he grabbed her to shield himself, and
it could have went really bad.
It could have went really, really bad. So,
so when because there was like an explosion, right?
They put C4 on all my doors. They blew up my crib. They like blew up my crib, my closet. The shit is like horrible. So all the shit that I manifested ended up getting blown up, which is funny as shit.
Which is crazy. But personal belongings fucked.
Yeah, but
a lot of them.
But none of it means anything.
Right.
It really doesn't. And I can honestly say that to anybody probably watching this. Like, you know, you work your whole life to get new cars and watches and
clothes and
shit. But they really don't mean anything.
I agree, man. Yeah. I tell people all the time. Do you still live there?
Hell no.
I don't know if
they owe me money too. Santa Fe office owes me money. If you're a lawyer watching this, I have $1 million civil case ready to go. Get at me, because seriously, they
who owes you money? The apartment building or the cops?
All of them.
Okay,
everybody.
Yeah, they kind of blew up your. I mean, if
insurance, the building, because the dude shouldn't have been able to get into the building. There was a security guard that wasn't on. He was working that day, but he was always hollering at women. Like every time
on Netflix or something.
Yeah, he was like on Netflix.
Every time I see a guy working security at a building, he's got his phone like underneath the desk. He's got his little AirPods.
Yeah, he ain't fucking tripping. So he should never been able to get in that building, you know, let alone up to the 4th floor.
Oh, the 4th floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not like a.
Yeah.
Yeah, like.
So. Well,
at least that your friend's fine.
Yeah.
You know, physically, she's still here.
Yeah.
When you saw that, like, what are your thoughts? What's your reaction?
I went into imagination time. I swear to God, when bombs were going off, guns was going off, my friends were crying, I literally closed my eyes and I envisioned her being dragged out of the building alive. I used all of my energy and I didn't worry. Everybody else was scared as fuck. I wasn't scared. I said, she's coming out. And that's how you utilize your imagination. You can heal yourself. You can heal someone else. You can manipulate a situation simply by seeing the outcome and then believing it. I guess that's what people would call faith.
Mm-hmm. Manifestation.
Manifestation, faith.
Yeah. Do you think, would you kind of compare the imagination time thing to like a form of meditation in a way?
Of course. Yeah. It's a focus. It's a practice. Yeah.
I saw that Jim Carrey had tapped in with the audiobook. He said that one of his friends had shared it with him.
Yeah.
And then he tweeted about it.
Yeah.
Which is a big deal. By the way, Jim Carrey's probably got one of the more incredible imaginations ever.
Yo, did you hear him on The Weeknd's new album?
Yeah.
It's genius. The whole radio station is genius.
Yeah, The Weeknd's album is dope. I fuck with it. But nah, just that's got to be crazy, right? Like Jim Carrey tweeting about you.
I'm blessed. I have so much. Yo, I have something I can't even talk about that's gonna happen with Jim Carrey. That it'll probably surface in a couple weeks.
Something
collaborative.
A collaborative.
Yeah.
Music.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's fair. That's big. Have you met Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
Cool dude.
Psychedelic. Electric.
Psychedelic. He seems like, I know he does art and he paints and stuff. Like he seems like a very
yeah. He's always been my favorite actor. I love The Truman Show. I love
Man on the Moon.
Everything that he's done has been just remarkable. But I got a lot of shit up my sleeve this year. I'm fucking swinging for the fences, man.
On all levels.
Goodwill collaboration. Yeezy Skid Row collaboration.
You're collaborating with Yeezy on Skid Row?
I don't know. I just coughed. I don't know what's going on. But a lot of transitions, a lot of new things are happening. I'm dropping 8 projects this year.
8.
Yeah.
Now, when you say projects, music projects. So there's 8 bodies of work in some capacity this year.
Valentine's Day, Times I Made Girls Cry. In December, dropping AI, Artificial Ignorance. Throughout the summer, I'm dropping mixtapes in Texas, New Orleans, Canada, Chicago. So I'm going to go to these regions and work with Manny Fresh and New Orleans. You know what I mean? Different producers, re-releasing We Are God. There Will Be Blood, which will be a Christmas album that I do on Skid Row, using people from the community to make like the craziest Christmas album ever.
Wow. Yo, it's interesting because like you have like you said, you give back a lot, but you also shine a light on Skid Row and just kind of the homeless population in general in LA.
Yeah.
And I feel like during the pandemic, I guess homelessness obviously was on a rise, but it also kind of became like the national narrative about LA's going to shit because the homeless, there's people sleeping everywhere. It's like, the city
can fix this.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you kind of your take on that because you're probably.
So just like death, right? Death is $1 trillion business. Death. So is fitness.
Mm-hmm.
So is homelessness. If there was no homelessness, then there wouldn't be these foundations to help homelessness, which are
where everyone's got salaries,
where everyone's got these overfluffed salaries, right. And it's like a business, you got to feed this and the tax write-offs and all this shit, so they kind of need it to exist. And mind you, there are some people that living on Skid Row who want to live on Skid Row. Like, not everyone wants to live in a house. There's a story of this woman who we got housing for, moved into her house and then set up her tent in her living room. Threw away all the furniture in the house and set up her tent in the middle of her living room.
Jesus. Shout out to her.
Yeah.
Dedicated.
It's dedicated. But so my goal isn't to necessarily eradicate Skid Row for everyone, because I feel like there are people who simply want to be liberated from society, who don't want any fiduciary responsibility. Right. But the people who do want to get out of it, like I've been doing imagination time on Skid Row, going up to certain people and getting them to see what they imagine.
Mm-hmm.
and 10 out of 10 of them are just imagining a nice place to sleep. They're like, man, I just want to live in a living room with a nice couch and this and some pajamas. They just want somewhere to sleep and an opportunity. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of square footage in factories downtown that are vacant that I'm going to buy. I'm going to turn it into housing. I'm also going to branch it off into my Skid Row manufacturing. There should be Skid Row trash cleanup. We're going to start a community garden. There's, Skid Row potato chips, because you can grow potatoes up. And I have this whole plan of, getting a potato factory and then making Skid Row potato chips. And like, I'm just figuring it out.
Did you notice Skid Row becoming a more or downtown just in general becoming a more wild place the last 2 years?
Yeah.
I know it always was wild in pockets, but it felt like
it's getting crazy, man. It's feeling like Gotham City right now.
Every time I go downtown, it's like I'm like, every time I go, it's like, damn, this shit's getting crazier. And then I'll go 2 months later, it's like, fuck, or I'll go a week later.
But the crazy thing is on Skid Row, it's not crazy, man. I feel safer on Skid Row than on Melrose now.
Well, Melrose, Melrose it's hot for sure.
Melrose didn't used to be like that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but like Skid Row is really a community of fucking people. Like it's really like grandmamas, uncles, cousins. It's like it's a community. Yeah, there's some junkies. Yeah, there's some this, but it's really good people, man. Yeah.
Do you because with your interactions with people on Skid Row, because I always feel like with the homeless thing, there's like you said, there's people who are there because they don't have a choice, so they want to get out of it. They want to get into a better place. And then there are a fraction of the people who have drug problems, who have mental problems, who, not even talking about the people who just want to be liberated from society, but people who just are in a position where they might have addiction that they're dealing with. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like what do you think is the solution for those people?
Psychedelics.
Just give everyone some shrooms, some ayahuasca.
Not just give it to them and say, here, take this, but something that I want to create is I want to create an environment where people going through addiction and trauma can be inducted into a program where their diet is all raw fruits, raw vegetables, and they microdose shrooms and DMT and ayahuasca, and they go on an inward journey into their psyche. And I believe that you can help cure a lot.
Yeah. I think ayahuasca is like the one thing that like I know people who have had lifelong addiction. Yeah. They've had vices that they could never shake. They've had suppressed mental stuff that they never even knew was the reason why they were a certain way.
Yeah. Because it forces you to like.
Have you done ayahuasca?
Yeah. Yeah. And when for me, everyone's experience is different.
Did you do it with a
shaman?
Shaman, yeah.
Yeah. I'm a shaman.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay.
But
you're an ayahuasca shaman?
I'm just a shaman
in general
in life.
I respect that. Okay.
Yeah. But these drugs are not this medicine. Mm-hmm. I don't even want to call it a drug, but it helps you look at yourself, this character that you created for yourself. And for me, I looked at all the things that made me, and I don't know, man. It's just, when I took DMT for the first time, I seen these little elves, these mechanical elves. They were just like laughing at me. I was like in this whole like mechanical realm, and they were just like laughing, and it made me feel like in this other dimension somewhere, there's people, they're just laughing at us because we're just fucking
trivial.
Yeah, we're just so trivial. We're like working our whole lives at jobs we fucking hate to buy shit we don't need and do
buy a bunch of bullshit to impress people.
And just like in fear and shit. And they're just like, ha ha ha. Like, like life is so fucking simple. It really is, man. And I wear nice shit, not because I feel like it brings my value up or to get girls or to look cool, but I genuinely, I love it. I'm a fan of aesthetics. I love nice shit, but it doesn't define me, man. I give shit away. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. What for when you did ayahuasca? How did that? Like, what was that experience like for you? Because sometimes people puke, they shit, they're fucking. I mean, for people who don't know, it's like a process. It's not like you just.
You get the shivers, you get the shakes. I mean, it's like detoxing. It's like when you're going through a what do you call it? A heroin withdrawals and shit.
I've heard people say that like there's like a voice you hear. Or like
you go into the astral plane, you're floating in nothingness, you're going through a black hole. I mean, I don't know what anyone else is going, but your time stops. There is no time, there is no nothing. You're like one with everything.
That's crazy. And it, obviously for people who don't know, it's like something you drink, I think people for the most part probably know about shrooms. They probably know about DMT. I think ayahuasca is the one thing that's like not as easily as accessible.
I think it might be in the future. I think it's going to be something more people tap into. But can you imagine that creating some type of process on Skid Row where people are introduced to these?
Yeah, because I do think that is a way that people can really kick real addiction.
Yeah.
It's like addiction is like, especially to certain shit, is like physically hard just to do, because if I quit doing this, then I got a week of the worst pain of my life coming my way, so I'm just gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
And there's no like, I think that's probably one of the bigger reasons why like people end up homeless. Like it is what it is. Like being a drug addict is a full-time job. They say being an addict to anything is a full-time job.
Yeah.
You treat it like it's like your job every day to get high or to whatever that thing is.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, man, because like I feel like here in LA, you're like one of the dopest minds we have.
Thank you.
I feel like your music is incredible. I feel like everything you do is dope. But like for whatever reason, I feel like you're still somehow underappreciated in the hip hop community when we think of LA.
I just made you say this. I was thinking about this and you just said it. It's interesting.
That's crazy. Why do you think that is? And do you give a fuck?
I don't give a fuck. But why do I think it is? So music is on a frequency, right? Just like the radio station, right? Mm-hmm. Life is all about frequencies, right? When you can't get things up, you can't get things that you get when you vibrate up here if you're vibrating down here, right? So music as a whole is kind of vibrating at this frequency right here, right? And in order for it to stay at this frequency, only artists and music and thought processes that allow that frequency to thrive, so it stays here. And when it's here, it's safe. It's a lot of money to be made, right? It's a lot of I could get really deep with you, but music is religion. Music is religion. It's like when you go to a concert, it's like going to church, For sure. Our bodies are 90% water. Music, vibration, sounds, especially 808s, which resonate with our lower chakras, it can control us. It can manipulate us. It can influence us. So right now, music is like right here. Mm-hmm. And our people are being controlled, influenced, and manipulated at this frequency. Now, this guy named David Sabastian, this entity right here, he's vibrating up here. Mm. And the second that vibration becomes popular, it's going to force everyone down here to rise. And now the subject matters are going to change. And now what we deem is important isn't going to be. And now you're going to have a group of people self-actualizing and asking themselves questions and saying, why do I need to buy that? Or why am I that? Or I don't want to fucking go to the club today. It's like a whole new paradigm shift. And when that paradigm shift exists, a lot of the shit down here just will become irrelevant. It's kind of like, remember Ja Rule was like the biggest shit on planet Earth, and then 50 Cent came out, and then
he wasn't.
And then he just wasn't.
Yeah.
Because 50 created a new paradigm. Kanye shifted the paradigm.
He sure did. He kind of shifted it away from 50.
Exactly. Shifted away from 50. So every now and then you have these paradigm shifters. It was very hard. I was talking to Dame about this. Very, very hard for
Dame Dash?
Yeah, Dame Dash. I was talking to Dame. And it was hard for Jay-Z to get anywhere. No label would sign him. Nobody wanted him. Right? Same with Kanye. We hear about his struggles. Sometimes when you have a new perspective and you're it's more futuristic than anyone can currently see, it's always going to be a tumultuous thing to get to where you need to be.
Yeah, it's like it's the harder journey, but it's the more fruitful journey once you get there. It's like you could dumb your shit down, or you could do what everyone else is doing, and you could play industry games and worry about all that shit. But at the end of the day, like,
I could start a TikTok. I could do a cool dance. I could do all that. But you know what? What I'm doing right now, what I'm building right now, is I'm building a legacy. This is legacy. I had a waitress come up to me who I didn't even know, and she was like, my son loves you. He's like 7 years old. I play him all of your music. I show him all of your art. My entire family's rooting for you. We want you to, like, someone, swear to God, like yesterday, someone hit me and was like, David, I've been following you from the jump since Pussy Marijuana, and I somehow got out of contact with you and found your Instagram, and you were at 70,000 followers, and I got really mad. And I was like, she was like, I got really fucking mad. And she was like, because like the output you put out and the level of work and consistency and blah, 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 like you should have 1 million plus fucking 20 million followers. And then she was like, I realized how this system is, man. So I'm not mad because I know what's going to happen this year. Some major things are about to change with me being at the forefront of culture. And yeah, so it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I think I feel like you are building your own ecosystem, your own world almost.
Yeah.
As to where like most artists who come into this game, they're very much dependent on, going to Grammy parties and networking and, just doing whatever they got to do just to kind of, but I feel like you're kind of over here building your island, and eventually, people are going to come to your island, and then, then hopefully the music industry starts to look a lot more like your island.
So I want to paint a quick picture for you. Imagine if David Sabastian, #1 record on the Billboard, right? Mm-hmm. Which means that there's a lot of eyes on what I'm doing.
Right.
Imagine I have a Skid Row drop this Friday, right? With millions of eyes on me. Yo, we're dropping this Skid Row collaboration. And then that drop makes $2 million. And then I take all of that $2 million and I put that into building my factories out and employing the homeless. And then I drop Imagination Time, and instead of 20, 30,000 people hearing it, now it's millions of people hearing it. And now you have millions of people having Imagination Time every morning and every night. And while that's happening, it's going to be a phenomenon.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I don't doubt it, man. I look forward to looking back at this interview.
Oh, these are the interviews. Like I hate to say Nip because I'm not like putting this with death or anything. Of course. But no, we go back and we watch old Nipsey interviews. Yeah, you watch. I remember when he died. I went back and watched old Nipsey interviews that I've never seen before, and I was like, "Damn, this nigga was
always
brilliant.
talking that shit.
He was talking that shit."
That's facts, man. That's facts. Like I think Nipsey was, for whatever reason, ahead of his time, but also I wish he was here to see the love that he's got now. Cause I've been knowing Nipsey since 2009 is when I first met him.
Yeah.
He was on my show in 2009, and he was always one of our guys. I'm a fucking hip hop head, so I always was rooting for Nipsey, but just to see the love and he's become an icon. You know what I'm saying?
An icon. Downtown, there's 1,000 Nipsey murals everywhere. There's a saying that great men plant seeds for trees. For shade, for great men plant seeds for trees that they won't be able to sit under its shade or something to that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It sucks because in the physical, for him to see the amount of reverence, and I know I'm going to see it in this lifetime. I came here for a reason, for a purpose, and I think we need liberation more than anything. The world needs to be liberated. culture needs to be liberated. We've been in a box for too long, and I think COVID has made a lot of people take inward journeys in. You know, I think COVID, aside from the obvious deaths that have come from it,
of course, but I think it was a blessing for a lot of people as well.
Yes, because it forced you to sit by yourself. I have this song called Running with the Wolves where I ask a girl, when was the last time you were truly happy when you were all by yourself and you weren't at a party? Like, we numb ourselves with
experiences.
Experiences.
Going to the club, going to the bar.
Dopamine fucking drives and shit.
Yeah. Well, what if you're alone at home for a year, 6 months or whatever it is?
Yeah, man, it's fucked because like everyone I know is depressed right now.
A lot of, I mean, that is the one thing about COVID. Like my kid who's in high school, he was like, we had to put him in counseling and stuff because like he was just going through it with his girlfriend and shit with his mom and like, but it was like he couldn't leave his house. He didn't have interaction with his friends. Yeah. He was sitting in front of a computer every day for fucking 6 hours. You know, it's different. Like,
everyone I sit in front of lately, I've been having lunches and everyone just like breaks down mid conversation. And you know, I try to do my best to help or try to inspire as much as I can, but I honestly think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. You know, you got to go through it at some point, self-reflection, and, you know, when you come out of it, you come out of it stronger, but we are in a very serious place in the world.
Did you end up catching COVID ever?
No.
Shout out to you.
No. You know, it's funny. And this might sound like some weird, superhuman weirdness. I never caught COVID, but I was in Atlanta and I was shooting a radio interview. Mm-hmm. And this is when COVID was going around. And I woke up and I couldn't breathe. I had the shakes, hot, cold sweats.
You were like, for sure, I got it.
I have COVID. Mm-hmm. I went in the bath. I turned on hot water and I had imagination time. And I imagined
that you didn't have it?
The sickness just coming out of my pores and into the water. And literally an hour later, I was perfectly fine. Did the interview, no cough, no nothing.
Interesting.
I was just fucking great.
Imagination time. For people who don't know, they can get the audio book. Yeah. But it's super simple. They could just, if you got Zelle, Cash App, Venmo, Apple Pay.
So hopefully by the time this airs, it'll be on Audible and it'll be on Amazon, right? But right now, go to, you could text me, right? Yo, it's crazy. When I dropped We Are God, I did the same method. Text me, send me the Cash App. And literally with imagination time, I have thousands of text messages in my phone right now.
You have a separate phone?
No. Oh, this is my line.
Wow. And is your number up on your?
Yeah. It's 917-535-8577. So if you hear this and you want it, you could just text me like, yo, I want the audio book.
And it's like 7 chapters or 6? Seven chapters.
Yeah.
It's an easy listen, right?
Very easily. It's me composing the whole thing, playing the piano.
It's kind of an experience. Like if you're going to check it out, you should probably be relaxed.
Yeah. In April, I'm dropping another audio book and it's called Believe in Yourself. And it's more of a episodic of how I got to this point, from dropping out of high school to becoming a freelance designer to traveling with Steve Aoki and designing his brand of this, and to working with Drake on his planes and this and that, and just to how I got to this point. It's called Believe in Yourself. So
we're going to get to some of that, but I got to take a piss. So quick intermission and then we'll be right back. Yo, stopping the interview. Got to tell you about our good folks at Odd Socks, man. Listen, go to oddsocksofficial.com. Use the promo code 20% off. Save 20% off some of the craziest socks. You know, they got the Ninja Turtle joints. Shout out to Kool-Aid. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to SpongeBob. Plus, they got the Odd Socks Basics. These are my boys right here. I love these right here. You get the plain black, the plain white. Very comfortable. Most comfortable socks in the world, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Plus, underwear, y'all. Cheese It draws. Come on, what are we doing? Go to oddsocksofficial.com. Use the promo code BOOTLEG and save 20% off. The most comfortable underwear in the world. Fuck all that other bullshit y'all be wearing on your ass. Throw all the Methicas in the trash. All that PSD shit, all that shit is all... Listen, man. Put them Odd Socks on your ass cheeks and thank me later. Yeah, I didn't even see that you had posted this Kanye thing.
Yeah.
So you posted this yesterday, right? Yeah. So you and Kanye, there's like an official collaboration between Yeezy and Skid Row?
It's not official till he posted, but there's some things in the works.
how did he reach out to you, or how did that happen?
I can't even really talk about that right now. For real, I promise you when I can, I'm gonna come back here.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you the whole scoop.
Okay.
Yeah.
You put it out there.
Yeah, but it was a question mark. It was like, is what's happening here? You know.
Talk to me how you ended up working on the Drake plane shit.
A good friend of mine, Matt Babel, who manages Drake, back when I was having some tough times and I needed some money, he hired me to do freelance design work for OVO and for Dream Crew and their whole shit. Mm-hmm. And I just used to just design shirts, merch, whatever they needed. And he put that on my desk. He was like, Drake just has a plane. You have any ideas? And I had a shoe called Air David, you know? And I was just like, it'd be tight. Like if I had a plane and called my shit Air David. And I was like, fuck, I'm probably gonna have a jet anytime soon. So I just kind of gave the idea Air Drake, you know, and then, you know, he has the Nike thing. So it was like, instead of just do it, I did it, you know, like, so I just kind of slid that conceptually.
When it comes to like design, I feel like there's a few underappreciated people when it comes to our industry. Mm-hmm. Cameramen, photographers, and graphic designers being like at the top of the list.
For sure.
I feel like most graphic designers always get underpaid, or people expect them to do something for free, or they'll put a whole lot of work in on a design, they'll submit it, and then if the artists don't like it, they might never even hear from them again.
Yeah. It depends on how you build. I mean, I was that for a couple years, but now I get paid. I started off in this game, I got $100 per design. Then after Teenage Millionaire, I went up to $300 a design. And then I started working with Steve Aoki and doing Diesel and Ruka, and then that went up to $500 a design. And then I started working with Von Dutch and PacSun and blah blah blah, and that went up to like $900 a design. And then blah blah blah. Now I won't touch it if I'm not getting, you know, $15,000 to $2,000 a design and some type of equity in the piece, and it's like a whole.
I was gonna say, like, do you have any advice for people who do graphics who are trying to figure out how to differentiate or
stop doing graphics and do graphics for yourself?
Just make your own shit.
Make your own shit, and then make people respect you, and then charge them. Then you can set your price. Because if you're a graphic designer, like you said, like they really treat you like the underbelly of shit. When it's your ideas and designs that are creating these fucking brands. So, you know, create something for yourself, build a business around it, make something out of it, and then people will start coming to you. Like, can you do this? And then you can set your own price.
On the clothing shit, like, what were some of the trial and error things you had to kind of get through to, like, really, because, you know, clothing is it's a tough business to be in. There's a lot of overhead depending on how you do it. You know, there's certain people who,
I mean, transparently, I'm currently going through a problem because I have like 3,000 orders unfulfilled because, you know, we're teaching people, we're taking people off the street and we're essentially teaching them how to screen print, right? So that's a whole thing in itself. But then when you have 30, 40 SKUs on a website and people want 100 of these, but 20 of these and 30 of these, and you got to print these and this and then shipping and this, it's like a whole thing. So I just shut down the Skid Row site just for a couple weeks, shipping everyone their shit out. And I brought in a new manager to help run the business. And yeah. So
you're going through that as we speak.
Yeah. Going through it as we speak because, you know, you want 1 million orders. You want people to spend, you know, $1 million. But how you going to fucking ship $1 million worth of product? You know what I mean? So expansion, growth.
We talked a little bit about, you know, how I feel like you're underrated in the LA scene. Who were some of the artists that you grew up listening to that you feel like never really got their full flowers in LA?
I don't know. I mean, the people I grew up listening to Pac. I grew up listening to Jay, Wayne. You know, like there's like Nip. Let's say Nip. I'll say Nip because Nip was a purveyor of taste, and he had that thing, and he had the spark, and he made great music, and he was for the cultures, for his hood, for his people. He made good music, and it was only through his posthumous death that he was able
fully appreciated. But yeah, I've
never seen a me before though. I've never seen a nigga who do all the shit I've done and has indirectly and directly affected culture who hasn't gotten his flowers yet.
Say 12 months from now, I'm talking to you. Let's manifest some shit. What do you hope? Where do you hope to be? Where do you hope to have happened this year, man?
Number one across the board in everything. Skid Row manufacturing grossed $50 million, employed and housed thousands of people. Music, number one hit single, album, touring across the board, sold out. Audio books, my publishing company, number one on Amazon. My kids program, Just Draw It, building a school here in New York, Chicago. My art in the Louvre, the MoMA, the MoCA, you know, going for 200. I'm about to do an art exhibition. That's why I'm mentioning. Matter of fact, I'm gonna show you something. I've been working on it. I'm doing an art exhibition next month. My first time doing these like 20-foot artworks. So you can't really see how big these are, but this is like 25 feet.
Oh, that's fire.
They have like real hair.
Oh, shit. Now, if somebody wanted to...
That's
crazy.
How big this is. What are you saying?
I was going to say, hypothetically speaking, someone wants to buy one of these. What does a 25-foot piece of art go for from David Sabastian? That's a lot.
So like, look how big this is.
Oh, yeah, that's massive. That's fire.
So this, I think, it's going to be about $150,000.
Wow. What it like when you painting and making art like that is like you got to have inspiration. Like, what is it like? Is it something that like how often are you working on pieces?
Every morning, 4:00 in the morning. I have a regimen. 4 to 9 in the morning, I'm painting. 9 to 3, I'm doing business. 3 to 7, I'm shooting content. 7 to 11 or 12, I'm making music.
So you're sleeping 3 or 4 hours a day?
Kind of, yeah. I'll be up with my videographer, Esco, at 3:30 in the morning, talking shit all day, just working.
Do you feel like, have you always had that kind of, like those sleep habits?
Yes. I honestly, I love, and if you're listening to this, you should try it, because spiritually, the veil is thinnest at 3:00 in the morning. There's an energy while everyone is asleep. It's like CPU power in your fucking computer, right? While everyone's awake, all the energy and everything is being distributed evenly. But when motherfuckers are asleep, you can just, my best ideas, my best songs, everything happens at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning.
So you feel like, because I feel like most people would think you need 8 hours of sleep. I know a lot of people, like usually I get about six to 7, but I mean, you say you're rolling on 4 hours of sleep.
We don't need anything. We have been conditioned and told as a human race that we need this and we need that and we need this, or we're going to be deficient in this and you need this. So we believed it. And that belief system is what perpetuates the need for that. We need 8 hours of sleep. So you need 8 hours of sleep. And if you don't have it, then you feel the L's of that. You don't need shit. You are a fucking God. You can do whatever the fuck you want and be completely fine.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is David Sabastian.
Yeah.
And he's got, well, just so we're clear, people can go support the audio book. When will it be on Audible?
Text me, 917-535-8577. If you want to be a part of this community, this tribe that I'm building, text 310-388-5193. If you want to buy some Skid Row shit, go to skidrowfashionweek.com or pull up to the warehouse on Pico and Main, 1300 South Main. That's where the Skid Row office is. If you want to be a part of the team and you want to help expand this, hit careers@believeinyourselfrecords.com. You know, that's the label. If you got a book and you want to get published, you know, my niggas read books too. Publishing, that's mine.
I love that. And then eight projects of music coming. We didn't even talk about the music.
Valentine's Day, Times I Made Girls Cry. April, re-release of We Are God. June, Atlanta, Georgia, 90 some. Here, this is I also got a little calendar of all the This year I ain't fucking around, man.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, and you got all the artwork already done.
I got the albums done.
Everything's done. Is it harder for you to do that while being, quote unquote, on a major label? No. Or is that part of the deal that you worked out?
It's part. I mean, they're my partners. I'm not signed to this 50-50 joint JV situation. But listen, man. If this is where you kind of zoom into the camera and you get into my face. I look at this right here. You could do whatever the fuck you want to do. Okay, you could fly if you believe it. In order to know you can fly, you got to jump first. That's how a bird learns it can fly, because the motherfucking kicks it out the nest and it falls, and then it either fly or die, right? And all I'm doing is spreading my wings. If you're not going to give it to me, I don't need a cosign. I don't need none of that shit. At the end of the day, I am waking up people one at a time, and all of this is going to create this cosmic shift of energy within our people, man. I'm going to put on the illest shows without a label. It's not even about a label. I'll self-fund that shit. I'm going to put on the illest shows, drop the illest visuals, drop the illest music, the illest merch at the same goddamn time. Gap, Goodwill collabs. I'm going to show you something. Don't say it online, but yo, look at this. Hollywood Unlock is dropping this.
Ooh.
What? Me? Who? It's a wrap.
There it is. Go follow him, man.
Yeah.
Thank you
for this interview. Thank you for letting me freestyle. And
all good, man.
Please invite me back anytime. I would love to come.
There it is. Go follow this guy. Go support him. David Sabastian.